Phil, your drummer has a better chance of his arm growing back than Vince Neil losing weight and getting in shape.
What do you want to start with?
Oh, happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Oh, we should probably acknowledge someone, the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah. We got a special guest with us. Old friend of mine, good friend of mine, and Derek's, Dennis Hebert. We go way back, not only with rock music, but sports and everything else in between. And he agreed to sit in today with us and go through some of these albums we got.
From what I understand, he knows a couple of these albums way more than I probably do.
He's like me.
But let's not forget the Faster Pussycat hat he's wearing.
Yes, nod to the Faster Pussycat hat. No doubt about that.
Love it.
Thanks.
Well, welcome to your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Looking forward to chatting up about all things hard rock.
Have you listened to one of them that we've done?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Now that we're newbies?
Yep. And, learned a lot, actually,
Really?
about, some of the stuff. Nice. It's great to hear the insight, you know what I mean? And especially from our generation, because this is not like we're spinning iTunes or trying to, look at, songs. These albums were part of our generation, how we grew up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we lived them.
Well, I think a lot of that too is my dog barking upstairs. We never critiqued these songs though back then, and we never analyzed these songs. We just kind of heard them, and now that you go back to these songs now, what we're doing, I think you pay attention.
You listen to them a little different.
Yeah, and a little more what's going on, and
And let me recap what we're trying to do is going back 40 years. So we're back in 1982. And we tried to review 3 albums from the month that we were recording. So October we did 3, November we did 3, and December now we're doing 3. We had a hard time in December because there's like no rock albums that came out. Well, not December. In 82, the rock albums were very limited. But I looked ahead at 83, and that's when it booms. Like there are so many. It's gonna be way easier for us to do it. Like I think we're reviewing some today that were out in June of 82.
right.
Wow.
So, but
Cool.
yeah. So I wanted to tell you, I listened to Ted Templeman's book. Did you read that or listen
I
to
have
it?
not yet. No.
I'm like, have you watched the Skinner documentary? I
Not
told
yet.
you.
I
you
did.
hear about that?
I
You
did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
If I leave here tomorrow,
Yeah.
oh, it's so
I'm
good.
out of the loop.
So good.
That was hilarious. Rosington talking about the original name of the band was like the
After
Five
that
Percenters or something. No, it was like, I thought he said it was like the One Percenters, and they had to change their name because people were making fun of them saying, 1% talent.
I don't remember that. I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember that part.
Well, I think that the name they came up with was based off
A school teacher.
School teacher.
Yeah, one of their school teachers.
Right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
great doc.
You got to watch it. It's very
Yeah.
good.
That's Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
But the Ted Templeman book, awesome. I never realized the bands he produced. I never realized that he basically signed Van Halen. They weren't officially signed until he and
I thought that was
I can't remember the other guy's name.
Marshall.
No. No, I think Burrow was involved in something, but yeah.
I think
Derek's-
the two of them went down
Yeah.
and finally said, let's give him a deal.
Yeah.
Well, Gene Simmons saw him.
Well, did the demo and all that stuff.
Yeah, but he dropped it because Paul Stanley didn't want him focusing attention on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought. Oh, Marshall Burrow. I thought that was the guy that actually.
I think he was involved, but I think Derek's correct. It was Templeman. I think.
That actually
Yep.
signed him.
Yeah, Greg Renoff is the author that wrote that book. He also wrote the book, the Van Halen book, that came out before that.
I want to get it. I know what you're talking about.
Rising. Van
Yes.
Halen Rising?
Yes.
Van Halen
My
Rising.
father just bought me that book for Christmas.
Oh, yes, that's next. But
Yeah.
so when the Ted Templeman book came out, the headlines all over were Ted Templeman wanted to replace David Lee Roth with Sammy Hagar.
It's because he produced.
He produced Montrose, but that's all people said. So when you're listening to the book or reading the book, he goes on to talk about the genius of Dave. Like he did in the beginning. He was like, Dave's not a studio guy. He's not he wasn't as polished as Sammy.
Yeah.
So he goes on later on and is like, Dave is a genius in how he came up with the melodies, how he phrased things,
Of course.
how he wrote over Eddie's riffs. Like he goes on and on to praise him. But what pissed me off that came out of that whole thing is like everyone's like, oh, we wanted to replace him with Sammy, and then they did,
Yeah.
down the
years
road.
later, but
So, but it's a fantastic read. I'm trying to think of some other parts. I never realized he and Don Lanny were so close. The engineer did all the albums.
Landy and who?
Templeman.
And Templeman,
Oh.
they were like a team doing all those albums.
Yeah.
And then when they split, when Van Halen split, Don went with Eddie to do 5150.
Yeah, with Mick Jones, right?
Well, for that one album, Jones
Yeah.
was, like 80% involved. Yeah. Right. And Templeman went with Roth.
Yep. Well, they were pissed that Templeman did Crazy from the Heat with Dave,
Yeah.
and so they didn't want him to do it. But what's funny is
Oh, who did Even Smile?
Well, that was
Templeman,
Yeah.
Ted Templeman.
yeah, he did that too.
He did. So I was thinking of this. It's funny. He did he basically created David Lee Roth, I think. And he did those albums and Eat 'Em and Smile. And then Skyscraper was done by Dave and Steve Vai.
Well, and you see the difference in
Oh.
quality.
Totally. And what they
When
could.
you start producing yourself, you don't have that outside person to give their opinion on what works and what doesn't work. You know what I mean?
He
You
talked
don't
about
get
the
that.
nuts and bolts of how they
Yeah.
were doing songs and
I
changing
mean, Vi's
products.
not going to say anything if he's writing the music and it's not good. You know, you need a producer there to keep you in line and say, doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's not going to sell. But when you're doing it yourself, you don't have that guy there to monitor that. you know?
Yeah. But it's an awesome book. I'm trying to think of the like 70s bands that he did. I never knew he was
He did
he's an accomplished musician too. I never knew.
Templeman?
Yeah. He had a couple albums, toured.
He did some great work with the Doobie Brothers.
That's what
Right.
he goes on and
That's
on about the Doobie
Yeah.
Brothers. And then how they left and then they had they kind of went downhill and then
Yeah.
they came back to him and they had these other hits like
So you've read the Noel Monk book.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's must read
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually a good book. I read that. And basically what I got out of that was he was just basically a babysitter. For
Yeah.
the band.
But he also, I thought I got out of that was like he and we all believed it. I think Michael Anthony getting screw job.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do you take a guy who's like the nicest guy in the world, that never ruffled any feathers in that organization, to take all his songwriting credits away, right?
Royalty. Yeah.
and his royalties and everything off all those albums he did with them.
Yeah.
And he did nothing. They didn't like the fact that he was just friends with Sammy Hagar,
Right.
you know, and it's unfortunate, you know.
Yeah.
That was when Eddie was in his darker years,
Yeah.
you know. That's where all that came from. It's too bad, you know.
And then the other thing that was pissing me off, I texted you this week. Sammy Hagar recently, I don't know if it was on a podcast or a radio show, said he could do the Dave era songs laying on his back, smoking a cigarette with
He
no
could.
problem. He could.
He could.
But-
so
But I hate that he says that because he's Jeff Tate could do Sammy Hagar singing on the can.
Right.
Right.
Like we all know he's a better singer.
yeah, but you know
But
what?
like when he came out with Montrose, people weren't like, "Oh my God, who is this guy changing the landscape?" When Dave came out, he set the tone for the next decade.
Of course he did.
Singers.
And the other thing
And
is,
so it pisses.
yeah,
me off.
okay, Sammy, you can lay on your back and smoke a joint or whatever he said, and sing David's lyrics. How about coming up with them? How about
Yeah.
writing that stuff?
Yeah,
You know? And Eddie was, Dave said the same exact thing. He goes, "Oh, anybody can play Eddie Van Halen. Anybody can play all of our songs, but write it, come up with it. Who can't just write, copy something that's already been."
well, we found out this past week that you can copy it and sound like shit.
Well, yeah.
Did you hear that, Dennis?
No.
He redid "Everybody Wants Some."
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
Why?
I know.
It's
Why?
awful. The guitar is like so lifeless. It's awful.
Why though? Like why?
I don't know what he's
Well,
doing.
what did I say to you in the text? Why mess with something
yeah.
that doesn't need messing with?
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with
it's what
everybody wants them. That's perfection.
Yeah,
That was a moment in time in the 80s, and they wrote that, and it's almost like a lot of it's off the cuff in the studio.
Ted talks about that. It's totally off
live,
the cuff.
and it just captured the moment, and it's awesome. You don't have to fuck with that.
He's
Yeah.
got nothing to do.
How are you gonna make that better?
He's got nothing to do. He's trying to stay
Well, yeah,
relevant,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would suspect. I think these guys, we were talking a little bit earlier about Leonard Skinner. And there's a song Leonard Skinner has that has nothing to do with guns. When Ronnie Van Zant says,
Give me back my bullets.
he's talking about hits. And I think that, I wonder if,
Taken out of context.
well, I think some of these guys like, Roth, I mean, you're an artist, be creative, write music, create music.
Yeah.
And these guys don't, he hasn't done anything.
No.
So it's like, I don't know. It's,
Well, it's a safe way to go. Let's take a song that's already a hit and just tweak it. Right? He's like, it's like a safety net there.
Yeah, but
because
he's
the
not-
song's already established.
but he's not selling. See, the whole point is it's Dave. Dave's ego, right? He's throwing it on social media. We're going to listen to it. And he's getting that attention, which is probably more
Right.
important than selling something.
Well, that's all he cares about is attention, which brings us back to Tommy Lee.
What?
It's attention, Oh.
From last podcast.
Well, from the last
Like,
podcast,
we
we
talked
talked
about
about
Tommy? I
Tommy
missed it.
Lee doesn't like not being relevant.
Right.
Doesn't like not being in, the headlines, not being current, not being part of what's going on in modern culture in America. And he does whatever he takes. And like we said, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, is the way he looks at it, is publicity. And I'm getting out there.
Well, see, that's the bad part of the generation, the time we all grew up in, where, it was heavy on what you look like and the attention and the videos
yeah.
and everything. But then these guys will talk about, or I read interviews like about being artists and so forth. But where's the
contradicting
creativity?
themselves.
Yeah, where's the creating? I mean, what's Roth created? I'm not disrespecting I mean, the guy, a legend and part of our childhood. But I mean, the fact remains, what has he created lately? If he's an artist, what has he created?
The last thing he's actually created were lyrics for the last Van Halen album.
So he's an entertainer.
Which was how many? 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer. He's not going to...
Like Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee, gifted musician, great drummer. But
he wants to be
Motley
more
Crue
than
didn't
that.
even make music, right?
They don't. They've already said we're not recording any new material. We're beyond that. We're 60 years old. It's just going to be a cash grab greatest hits tour every year. They're doing it again. They're going out with Def Leppard.
Yeah.
They're going to bring that friggin' road show back out. I don't know.
Did
Mick
you go to
Mars
that?
is there.
I did.
went.
He gave
I
me
gave
the
my
tickets.
tickets.
Oh, yeah. We went too. Not, I think a different night.
We went Saturday night, Fenway.
Oh, we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were there. And who do you think was the best band?
It was definitely Poison, Def Leppard,
Boom.
and
Yeah.
then Joan Jett, and then Motley.
I walked out of there going, I used to make fun of Poison with the
were-
costumes and stuff, and with the like they had the
They were limited.
feminine color, like the the
Yeah,
pink
they
and
were-
whatever.
they were glam.
To me
Yeah.
delivered a better show and music than Motley and
I heard that
Leopard
from
was
you.
all right, but Poison.
Yeah.
Poison. Brett Michaels in shape. The whole band, I mean, they weren't like just, fat and out of shape or health problems. Maybe they do have health problems, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, I heard that they were good, but to actually see them and go, wow. Brett Michaels, I mean,
They put on a good show from what I heard.
It was great. Yeah.
What's the... I know we got to move on, but
No, we got all the time.
is this
we want.
John 5 thing happening
Yeah.
with Motley Crue?
Yeah.
tour.
'Cause I just saw a thing with Karabi today. Says, I'll believe it when I hear it from Mick Mars.
Well, no, he said he'll believe that he's retired. So what he's getting at, I think, is you must have started at the concert. On the side of the stage was the promotion of Mick's solo album coming out. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
huge banners just promoting it. So I think that's what Karabi's getting at. Like, he's not retiring. He's just not going to go out and tour with these clowns. He's gonna
Right, yeah.
he's gonna release
I
his
think
album
he's
and
tired
maybe
of that freaking road show with those guys.
yeah.
They treated him like shit for a lot of years. I read The Dirt, and I read some stories about the tour buses. They used to like throw fucking empty beer cans at him when because he was dating like one of the singers. I read in the Feel Good days, and they pick on him, because he's quiet. He was a quiet guy. He wasn't, he wasn't Tommy. He wasn't like.
Yeah. Well, he was 10 years older than them.
Yeah, so they used to kind of pick on the guy. And I don't know. I think he's got resentment for that, but I think he knew that that's where the money was. If he leaves there, back then, what's he got? You know?
I mean,
Now I don't think he cares.
Vince Neil, I don't know, Derek, if you caught this or saw this or noticed this, was wearing like one of them like long shirts,
They're
back in the 80s when you have like maybe like my mother, aunt's a little overweight, so they wear that real long sweater that cover up the ass.
He's wearing that?
Yeah, he's got this long stuff, like jacket and
It's called something. It's
Schmock.
no,
Vince
Smock.
Neil.
a kimono. It's a
Kimono.
A kimono.
No, that's like the dragon.
Yeah, but that's what he was wearing
Why?
because he's a big mess.
So they had this interview where Phil Collins, this was before the Motley show, and there was a question about, will Vince Neil be in shape to be able to perform? And Phil Collins like, yeah, he's seeing a nutritionist, and he'll
out
be
with
fine.
him.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. And I read on Twitter, this comment was like, Phil, your drummer has a better chance of his arm growing back than Vince Neil losing weight and getting in shape.
Well, I think he'll be in shape. It'll just be pear shaped.
I think so.
But why, like we talk about, why does he need to get in shape? He's going to go out and tour with Def Leppard in the summer next year to full sold out arenas. There's nothing that makes him think, if I don't get in shape.
They're not going to take me on tour.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's Nicky's fault. Because he enables all that behavior from him, all that behavior from Tommy. You see Tommy's video he just did?
No.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's, well, what's it say, Derek? Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at me.
30
What's he-
different ways.
Yeah.
What's he got? No clothes on or something like that?
It's animated. It's over the top. I can't even describe it. I don't even know why a 60-year-old guy would ever even make a video. It's a loop. It's a loop. He's in a hotel room. There's all this well, how do you describe this?
I don't know.
Inappropriate stuff going on. It's
Dildos coming
all
out of his head.
CGI animated, and then it goes out into a hallway. It's like it's in a hotel, and it's like 1,000 freaking snake heads of Tommy, and then it goes back into the hotel room, and then the loop starts over again. Does all the ridiculous, inappropriate crap, and yeah, it's attention grabber.
Yep.
That's all he's trying to do.
Yep. What else you got? Anything?
Well, I got a few things I want to touch on. You guys up on this Key West Rock Island Fest
No.
happening in Key West?
Yes, I had some friends that went last year, that first year of that.
Well, my first question is, why would the town agree to that in that type of town? This is a lazy, tropical, kickback, Jimmy Buffett vacation town.
What is
You're
it?
going to bring these freaking guys.
Who are the guys? What?
Rock Island
ton of-
Festival. They call it Rock Island Festival.
Rock.
Yeah, you're talking late '80s bands. So think of like Slaughter, Winger,
all that's coming
Warren.
in Key West.
uh,
It's like, what the hell?
I had no idea.
I'm surprised that town agreed to having that happen there. I guess they got a little corner of the island that's just, what was it called again?
Rock Island Festival.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it. Is it like a Rocklahoma but in Key West?
Yes, right.
Yeah,
Or the one you
pretty
go
much.
to, M3.
I used to go to M3 in Maryland,
Yeah.
and it's 3 days. It's all those bands. But I mean, Key West is a lot warmer than Maryland in like April.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is it. January 17th.
Yeah.
You're laying on the beach in Key West. Nice warm day. And all of a sudden, enough's enough. Jet Boy and Pretty Boy Floyd are coming on stage. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then Wednesday, and that was another one of my things, is these lineups are skewed. Loverboy, Steven Adler, Honeymoon Suite, Helix. Like, how are you picking these bands?
Well, you're going for the weather, right? I mean, in a party. I mean, that's
Okay, so then next Thursday, you got Vince Neil. Okay, so the first band I think of to play with Vince Neil, 38 Special. That's like, what? Quiet Riot, Wigwam. I don't even know who that is. Then Friday, you got Styx, Extreme, Striper, Black and Blue. And I'll tell you, Saturday's not a bad night if I could take one of those bands out. You got Tesla, Queensryche, Stephen Piercy autograph.
Buy a 1-day pass, show up late.
Yeah.
Well, I would go to Saturday, and I'd like to take
Right,
out
that's
autographs.
what I'm saying.
Put Extreme in there or something.
Yeah.
I don't think. Is there anyone left in autograph to play autograph?
Who is
A
that
lot of
one
these,
autograph?
a lot
No.
of these bands now they're out on tour, but there's no original
Well, yeah,
members.
that's the other-
Yeah.
It's a cover
Who's in
band.
Quite right.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Well, Sarzo's back.
Sazzo's back in Quite right.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
we went to.
The Brow's dead.
I went to M3 for a few years, and we had a lot of fun. I mean, you're not going there to see, yeah, Van Halen or,
No,
or,
you're not gonna see
these are the level of bands that you're gonna see, and it was fun and stuff. I mean, everybody dresses up, so it's like
It's
except I
nostalgic.
didn't dress. We didn't dress up,
Yeah.
but people take it to the next level. It's like going to a Kiss con. Yeah, so I mean. Yeah, you go for the experience and stuff, but
But I just think some of these lineups.
yeah,
How do you get Loverboy and Steven Adler
Well,
and Helix on the same bill?
Well,
I mean, what the?
the thing about Rock Island is like M3 is it's a ticket out of Manchester to Maryland, Baltimore.
Right.
Short money, quick flight. You can go hotel, you're in, you're out, you're back home. It's not a big deal. You go to Key West. I mean, you're investing a little bit more money.
Right.
Finding a place to stay, and I believe they have packages they try to
Yeah, I
sell
was
too,
looking up the packages,
and they're
which-
not cheap.
No.
So I mean, now you get to a point where it's like, okay, you're going to spend all this money, or this kind of money to see those types of bands.
Well,
you
look
know.
at this. You got the Diamond Pass, the Sapphire Pass, the Pearl Pass, and the Single Day. The Diamond Pass is $1,000. That's not including what it costs you to get there, stay there, eat,
Yeah.
survive while you're down there. Then you're going to pay $1,000 for the 5-day pass. That gets you the whole thing, the whole week of bands. And then you get the Sapphires, $800.
Do you see what Metallica's doing? They released that song. Did you hear the song?
No,
single?
not yet. Good.
Good tune, but it's funny. I've been reading on the web that everyone says anyone who likes it's an old person. Like
Yeah.
kids don't like it.
They're not.
But
Yeah.
so they've booked out the next 2 years for their tour, and what they're doing is they're doing select cities, stadiums, 2 nights, and
2 different shows.
2 different shows from them and 2 different shows from opening bands. Like it's
really?
totally different. So what they're doing is they're flying in Friday morning or afternoon, doing a show, staying over, next show, flying home to San Francisco for the week, and flying back out.
Yeah.
But they've done this for 2 years, and they have all kinds of like packages too. Like it's crazy where you can go and meet and all
I'm
that
not
stuff.
that motivated anymore
No,
to do it.
I hear you.
I'll
But
watch
it's-
it on YouTube.
But it's
later.
funny. It's like I wonder if they're trying to. I was gonna say I wonder if they're trying to set the new framework of how to do concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've got a catalog where they can do that. Like think
Right.
of who's a band today
You
that
have to have
that
enough
can-
albums
to
where
do
you can
that.
change up your sets
Like
like that.
like GNR couldn't even do it.
They don't have enough albums.
No.
Big Fall and maybe like a Dave Matthews or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do
DMB.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if Van Halen could do it, they got enough material between
Yeah.
both singers. They could do that stuff. But
Oh, that's the other thing that pisses me off is Sammy always goes, "I was in the band longer,"
who cares?
but they didn't do as many albums.
now,
And they didn't do as many
from
good
like
albums.
'96 to like or
They
'95
did
to
like
'98,
like
they
4
did
albums.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
So sorry, another rant.
All right, I gotta be.
Let's see.
'Cause they dress up.
Yeah.
Like they wear that, like 80s wigs
Yeah, it's
and stuff.
nostalgic.
And
They go
yeah.
back in time.
Yeah, I never knew it was. I never knew it was in Maryland. That's funny. But what do you got, Mark? I got two more things, but
Well, the only other thing I had was, oh, Pantera reunion. You guys, what do you think about that?
I looked a little bit. You can name the reason why I checked it out for a little bit because of Zach. I wanted to see what he
Right.
was up to. But I haven't followed it at all.
No, my opinion on it is, who cares? You know,
Yeah.
you're not seeing the original lineup.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the guys you care about. That
Seen a cover band.
it's a cover band. It's like, so what?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't interest me at all.
Yep.
I was never a big fan of that speed metal.
No, but
Yeah.
I was respectful of
We had a spot.
Dimebags.
Well, they were
ability.
outside the core four, right, or the big three, as they call it. Is that what it is? You had Anthrax, you had
Yeah, they weren't
Metallica,
part of that.
Megadeth, and Slayer. I think
Yeah.
was the other. And
And they- yeah,
Slayer.
they weren't-
yeah.
We had a connection, Mark, to Pantera, though.
No. Wow.
We met this super nice girl, just all bubbly and everything, and all of a
Well,
sudden
where were we?
we were at Daytona Beach, but all of a sudden she's sitting there next to us and she starts going, "Walk, are you talking to me? Are you
She's
talking?"
singing it like you like a
Like she's a
nursery
Barbie
rhyme.
kid.
She's sitting in a car with us. We're in Daytona,
It was
and she's
so-
just like singing Pantera as if it was being sung by
Britney Spears.
yeah. Oh, you're talking to me? I'm like, what is she singing? And I'm thinking, I think she's singing Pantera back there.
Wow.
It was funny. But speaking of the cover bands, the other big. Do you have Sirius Satellite?
I do.
Do you listen to Eddie Trunk?
I do.
He's been all over.
Not lately, but
He's been all over people using backing vocals.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Motley did
Yeah,
it.
but they're
that
all
whole-
doing it.
So the one
Except Poison.
right.
Poison's not doing it.
One he revealed, and they came out and said it, was Wasp is on tour. They're not doing backing vocals. All the vocals are run through a
Ah,
computer.
no way.
He's lip syncing the whole show.
Blackie Lawless isn't even singing.
He is.
oh, I
not
haven't
even
heard
singing.
that.
Yeah.
Why are you
Look it
even
up.
going out on tour?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I haven't heard. I haven't listened ever since football season stuff. I haven't listened to Eddie in a while, but wow.
Yeah. Go check it out. It's and you can bring it up on YouTube. There's people talking about it and stuff.
Why would you go to that?
People.
I
well,
understand some
so,
backing vocals.
So Eddie Trunk's big thing is like, people don't care anymore. They don't care if there's background vocals. They don't care who's in the band. They don't care any of it. They're just like,
That's awful.
it's nuts. And he goes, people just don't go to see live music anymore. They go to see tracks being played through a computer.
Yeah, with some visual.
Yeah, that's all you're getting.
I'm surprised Lawless would be that stoop to that level.
Especially since he hasn't done anything in like 15 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Wow.
that's
So you're
amazing.
paying for a live show that's not really live, other than them being there live.
The only other thing I have was Metallica's new song, which you guys
Yep.
touched on. But I was thinking of another thing about. You ever lose interest in a band after they become too big? Like, I get into Guns N' Roses in '87 because they were in the studio in BCN, and I was in my bedroom, the 18-year-old kid or whatever.
26.
Whatever. But they were in the studio. They were unknown. This
Well-
band was unknown. I recorded it on my tape deck, and I had it on a tape, and I had all the songs because they played the album. And I thought that was my band, like almost like only I know. Like like that. You go to Interlight Records and you find a band.
Yeah, but that's like they start writing music and they're not talking to you anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you follow that GNR, right? They were doing what, a soundtrack?
Well,
they-
that's what I'm saying. Like when
mean-
I first recorded that on my tape, as far as I know, I'm the only guy that's got this. and I show it to my friends, I feel like this is my secret. This is my band. And, then you see the video on MTV, and you're like, okay. But you still think they're kind of, like Fastway, kind of underground band.
Say what you will.
Nice segue.
I think the commercialism, that's got a big piece of it,
Yeah.
right? Because then you start to be overplayed.
You get overplayed.
So that band, it was your band, is now on the radio all
and
the
it's
time.
everybody's band. You know what? I lost interest in the band. I'm like, first of all, I didn't think your sophomore album should be a double album, epic.
No.
That Use Your Illusion. That was way too early for that band to be doing that.
Yeah.
How about an Appetite 2 with some more street, gritty,
Yeah.
you like the same stuff, Why so early? Were they going for this epic?
Prove themselves.
Yeah.
Something.
I didn't like those albums.
I didn't even buy them. No. I think I bought Lies, and that was it. That was the one after. And that was half.
Right, but we're more into the underground, like Electric Boys. You know what I mean? Bands like that. It's like when bands get too big, except Van Halen, when you're younger, Priest and all that. But later on, it's just like when you find a band you like and then they go to the super stardom, I'm like, oh, you don't need me anymore. You know what I mean? That's kind of my feeling on it. It's like, all right, you don't need my support anymore. You know what I mean? You're playing the freaking Spectrum or you're playing 5 nights at Foxborough.
Well, that's like, what's the band we like? We went and saw
Well, that's why we
down,
like...
down at the Orpheum. And they just
That's
did
what
that.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. Why can't they?
What's it? We always forget that band's name.
I always
We
wanna say-
love them, too.
I always want to say Royal Blood, but it's not.
No. Rival Sons.
Rival Sons.
Right.
Love that band.
Yeah.
So raw and
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? They'll never obviously get to that because I don't think any bands in the year 2023, music's not like that anymore. There's no. Bands just don't get to that Metallica status anymore. I don't think you can. What's the new band that's like gone through the stratosphere? None.
yeah, Trickster.
Yeah, they went through the
Oh boy. My last thing is, this isn't the. This may not be the correct podcast for this, but people were talking about this album, and they were saying hits after hits after hits, great songwriting, all this. And I'm like, really? Was that good? So I put the album in, and it is freaking good. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors.
Oh, no.
Holy mollies!
Yeah.
I never realized how good that album
Love
is.
the Mac.
It's
Yeah.
shocked.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
And then there was an article that came, I guess in 2 years ago, all these TikTokers were using one of the songs for their videos, and it blew up again. Like it went huge again, like
Yeah.
multi.
Well,
So-
Chrissy McVie.
Yeah,
You know? I mean, one of the, underrated, I think,
well, it took a
members of
backseat.
that band.
yeah, yep. Yeah, she did. She took a backseat, like you said.
Wow.
But yeah, oh my God, just listen to that album. It's crazy how every song is just iconic.
Yeah.
Well, and how you know that it's that is when your kids, like Adeline, my daughter, loves songs from Fleetwood Mac, and she'll just like, hey Alexa, play blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like it transcends over generations and
Yeah.
generations. You know what I mean? I mean, how old is that album?
I don't even know.
That's 45
plus.
years.
Yeah,
Late 70s, maybe?
yeah,
Late
Yeah,
70s?
late 70s, and here my daughter is. She knows that those songs.
yeah.
You know, there's something to be said about that.
All right. Anything else?
No, it's all
We can
I
move
had.
on to these
You got anything over there, Dad? you wanna
Nope.
talk about?
these albums. Which one, Mark? Do you want to
Well,
do?
we don't have to go by what I got first, but I got Rainbow.
All right. funny about this. After I told Lisa we were doing this this album, she knew one of the songs on the album, and it started appearing all the time on the radio. Like,
Really?
every time we get in the car, it was on. It was like, Jesus Christ. Supergroup?
Well,
Kinda?
no. I
The only two musicians that well, you got Glover's on it.
you got
He's the
Glover
bass
on it,
player, and he produced it.
and you
Oh,
got
really?
Yep, and
Blackmore. I thought there was another.
Rondinelli or something, the
Well,
drummer.
Bobby Rodinelli.
Yeah,
but
but
not
he's-
from anything. you
Yeah.
know.
He started out with Rainbow, I think. He did the Difficult to Cure album, which was before
Was
this.
was this Joe Lynn Turner's first album?
No, this was his second.
Second.
Difficult to Cure, I believe, was 81. This is 82.
Yeah.
So Joe Lynn Turner's second album.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the supergroup.
Okay.
Supergroups to me combined guys from other
Two major bands.
major bands.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, the other thing-
the two biggest guys are from the same band.
Yeah, yeah.
But Derek points out, he makes a good point, though, because, see, the thing is, Rainbow was a supergroup. But I think that you got to remember, Richie Blackmore, who's running, it's his band, every album, the lineup changed.
Of course.
If you go back to the Dio years, supergroup. I mean, there was Ronnie Dio was in that band. Causey Powell was in that band.
Yeah, but you can't call Dio as part of a supergroup member because where did he come from?
Elf.
That's what I mean. You have to come from another band that had
when was he in Sabbath?
after, right? Yeah, he was on Heaven and Hell. So he did the Rainbow stuff early with Blackmore, then he did Sabbath after. So I can't even say Dio at that point had enough clout to be considered a supergroup member.
Yeah, but what about
Powell, maybe.
Glover, Powell, Causey Powell?
Oh, absolutely, Powell. Well, what was Powell doing back then? Snake.
I think
don't
he
know if
was
he was even a white snake.
He might have been, yeah. So
I don't know, but I mean, you got two guys from Purple, Joe Lynn Turner, who's basically new to the scene, even though it's the second album. He's not, Rodinelli. I didn't know who he was.
no,
I only know him from Rainbow, and Dave Rosenthal on keyboards. Not familiar with him.
This was named number 25 of greatest rock guitar albums of 1982 by Guitar World. Which I thought was interesting.
number 25 for the year.
For that year,
No.
Historic.
It was named number 5 of the 25 greatest albums of that year.
Oh, excuse me.
of that
Yep.
year.
Yeah. By Guitar World. So
Yeah, I mean, the Rainbow concept, the band is. I mean, do you agree? It's a Richie Blackmore solo
It's
album.
it's his project.
Yeah.
He just threw that moniker on there, but it's basically the Richie Blackmore band. Because, like you said, there's been if you look at the timeline of bands that were, members that were in that band, it's endless. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Except him. He's the only guy that remained,
I mean, I think when I heard this album and re-listened to it recently, it just seemed like it didn't speak to like a teenager. It was almost like a mature audience would listen to this, compared to the other albums that were released back in that day that talked about partying and stuff, or the devil or violence. This is talking about relationships.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you think about it.
So it's
you
funny
know,
you say
the
that because
songwriting.
Ted Templeman talked about that Dave, before Van Halen, everything was about relationships and, the world and all this. And then Van Halen came and was like, let's frickin' party. And he thought Dave was a master at bringing that aspect. So same thing. But you're right. It is back to that love and relationship album.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, the some of us that like this, you had to love Richie Blackmore, right?
Of
I
course,
mean, you had to
of
be
course.
like,
Yeah.
wow, listen to his guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't so much. So, I mean,
Well,
I
you
was
gotta
always a big
remember.
fan.
When he was in Rainbow on this album, if you're a Purple fan, that's your only
Outlet for
outlet to hear anything.
the lineage.
There's not, because Purple was on hiatus. There was no
Right.
Purple going on. So if you wanted to listen to anything that sounded remotely close to Deep Purple, you had to, buy Rainbow albums.
Right.
Essentially,
Yep.
Sounds funny. You had to buy Rainbow albums. Ooh,
Well,
and
yeah.
unicorns and
I
bit.
thought about that too when I was looking at this. I'm like, would they name this band Rainbow today? The big rainbow and the backdrop. And I'm like, ooh.
Who knows?
I think that'd been a whole different thing back then.
All right. Want to get into the songs or
Sure.
any other tidbits? Nothing? Death Alley Driver.
What do you got?
I got very aggressive song. A good lead off track sets the stage. This is, speed. Blackmore riffing.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over how much Eric Martin from Mr. Big sounds like Joe Lynn Turner. Even
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tempo of this song sounds like one of the Mr. Big songs. I was like, holy smokes. Sounds like I'm listening to Eric Martin.
Well, and also the beginning is a little reminiscent of Tora Tora from Woman, Children First. That
Oh, yeah.
that build up thing.
Yep.
But I got typical 80s car driving song. You want to get in the car and drive freaking 80 miles an hour down the highway kind of song.
82, you're drinking a beer.
Yeah. They knew that. That was calculated.
Right.
Like you said, great opening song for a tour. I don't know if they opened with that, but
Yep.
you want to come out, out of the gate hot, you open with that.
So I think
What-
like song selection or the,
Wait. There's no pardon me's on that.
Okay.
You just rudely
Say, shut the
interrupt.
fuck up.
Just go.
All right. So I think that we also have to put in perspective that when you're listening to this for the first time, 1982, this is like the first song on the first side, right?
Right.
So you either got a piece of vinyl in an album or you got a cassette probably at that time, right? 82.
They were out.
That you're popping in. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that first song, there's got to be a strategy to this, right? We're going to lead off with something that's going to kick you right in the nuts. You know what I mean? And set the stage.
Well, a good producer knows how to arrange the song.
Yep.
Lineup. You know what I mean? And that's a great song to open this album with. Blackmore solo was great, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask, what'd you think of the... my note here is, like most songs on the album, what'd you think of the drum sound? Really...
Well,
Or maybe it's the time.
it's 82. There's the technology there. But look what Alex was doing with Diver Down. He had a great
Yeah.
sound. So it depends on your producer.
Yep.
If Bob Rock produced that,
Or Ted.
or Ted, it probably would have had more punch.
Yeah.
I don't know who produced that. Did we?
Glover.
Oh, Glover.
Roger Glover.
There you go.
All right. Anything else on that song?
Nope.
Good hard rocking tune. Stone Cold. Never heard it. No. That's the one that just kept playing on the
Oh,
radio.
yeah. Well,
Holy
that's it.
smokes.
Yeah, classic.
It gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Dan.
No, I mean, I just think that very powerful, great lyrics.
Yep.
Incredible. I mean, you guys caught the keyboards in this thing. Wow. You know.
Yeah, I got hit off the album, of course, right? The big hit.
Yep.
Turner's great on this song. Great. Turner's great on all these songs. He's young. He's new. Another great Blackmore solo. The solo's great. Best song in the album.
Over 5 minutes long.
Oh, is it?
Yep, 5 minutes,
Huh.
17 seconds.
Great song.
It's the number one played song on Spotify of their hits.
Wow.
Over 10
Yeah,
million.
it's one of the
huge.
biggest Rainbow songs ever.
But it's weird that they went from Death Alley Driver right into that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh.
right.
Yeah, but it had a great mood, great feel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love that song.
Yeah. What's next? I don't
Bring on the night.
Bring on the Night.
What
I said not a huge fan. I didn't give it anything else.
do you got?
I just thought there was some Blackmore guitar effects in this. It was which was cool, but I kind of agree with Derek. You know, it was all right. You know,
Yeah.
I got
and it's probably why it's in the middle of the first side.
yeah. I got has that galloping, storming the castle feel, which a lot of these bands back then had. So it reminds me of a song. He's gonna kill me, but Pete Busiak would write back in the day. But not a bad song, but just that era, there was a lot of that style
Yeah.
going on, especially from European bands.
Yeah.
You know, you just picture this guy on a horse and he's going towards the castle. You know,
Old Spice guy.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just a style.
You fast forward to what Blackmore's doing nowadays, right?
no
Where
way.
he's
Yeah,
wearing,
he's totally lost.
you know,
his
like
mind.
he's in
I don't
a
even know.
medieval
he's in a
band or
Robin
something.
Hood movie, and he's in the
Oh,
the
Blackmore's
town
Night.
with the
It's not even rock.
yeah,
It's like medieval music.
yeah,
Huh.
Yeah.
like flutes and
He-
So I mean, the other thing is to understand the man, right? The man who Richie Blackmore is, which we don't know obviously on a personal level, but we know he's a little strange. We know he's got a massive ego, and it's so. Then when you look at some of these songs and why they're in there, I mean, he's the final stamp of approval, right?
oh yeah,
It's his
Exactly.
band. It's his band.
Yep.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Glover's producing, but how much control does Glover have
Right.
over song selection and anything that's going on in the song?
Right.
He knows he's got no leverage there. You
Yeah.
know who produces? Blackmore produces album. I mean, what's Glover doing on these that Blackmore didn't give the green light to?
Right.
You know,
Yep. All right. Next.
tight squeeze.
Tight Squeeze.
I have kind of has that Coverdale era vibe. Kind of Come Taste the Band,
Bluesy.
Yeah,
middle
bluesy,
70s.
Great guitar groove.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good song, cool groove. That's what I got.
I said, damn, they cover a lot of styles. Like, just we're 4 songs in, and they're
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
different songs.
Right.
Tearing Out My Heart.
I got more blues there, blues vibe, slower song.
Yeah,
I just said I could do without.
Yeah.
they got more great vocals, but I mean, come on, they all have great vocals, right? Typical power ballad for those times. You know?
Yeah, I was not a huge fan listening to it now.
Yeah.
You know what I
I mean,
mean?
it might have been better back then,
Yeah.
but like I said, I got here a little note: not reinventing the wheel, but not a bad song, but nothing earth-shattering.
Right. Power.
Yeah, so my, you know, if you, you know, I thought, I can remember back in the day hearing this and just being like, wow, this is kind of like a heavy song on this album, you know, with his guitar riff. I
Right.
thought that was good. I just remember being drawn to this song just because it was more of the hard rock versus the blues or, you know, an
Yeah.
instrumental, which we'll talk about later. Was this a single?
Yeah, as far as I know,
No.
Stone Cold's the
No.
only one that came out.
The
of
only
this.
one? Okay.
It could be.
I said I was never never aware of this album as a kid, and but boy, you can see how it shaped a lot of 80s
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
music and bands. Like, holy smokes. I
Well,
guess-
you hear all the elements in these songs
Yeah.
in these albums from this early era in later bands.
yeah.
It's like, well,
Totally.
we know where they got that. And,
Yep.
Yeah. What do I got on this? Do you got anything on that album? Song?
That's it.
I got kind of a catchy Blackmore riff. You know,
What do you want?
power.
Oh, Power. Okay.
Good solo. Okay song. You know, nothing groundbreaking, but I don't know if anything's groundbreaking, but just good Blackmore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, if
Stuff, you know?
if you're drawn to like, I want to hear Joe Lynn Turner, you know, like I'm a Joe Lynn Turner fan. I don't care about Blackmore that much. You're probably not really thrilled with this song. But if you're like a lot of us back in those days, you wanted to hear, you know, the Man in Black, as they used to call
Well,
him.
yeah.
And that's, you know, a song that I think highlights a couple things.
well, when I first heard this album or bought this album, the only guy I knew on it was him. So you're buying it with the intention of I just want to hear Blackmore.
Right.
You know, well, obviously Glover was on it, but I wasn't. See, I don't remember the album before this with Turner. I wasn't.
Difficult
I knew
to cure.
Yeah, but I think I was introduced to him on this first. Sometimes, like I think we talked about last podcast, sometimes you hear an album with a guy on it and you go back to earlier stuff. But this is the first time I heard Joe Lynn Turner.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great singer. You know,
It's that I've mentioned it before. Great singer style. For me, it's too polished. Too.
well, I think like we say, it's that certain type of genre.
At times,
It
there
fits
seems
me.
like there's no feeling, just hitting the notes. Like,
All right.
so
Yeah.
that's where I get lost. I'm like, oh, I
Well, there's no,
passion.
yeah, like Jeff Keith or
Yeah,
David Lee or, you know, where there's like rasp in there and
Tyler
mistakes and,
yeah.
you know, this guy is polished and it's going to sound like a processed machine. Like
Yeah.
The guy's
Yep.
fucking a machine, a
Oh, yeah.
robot,
Yeah.
you know?
Difficult to Cure, which was before this in '81, had I Surrender, Spotlight Kid,
Was there a hit? Midnight Tunnel Vision.
Can't Happen Here. Yeah, I Surrender
I
was.
Surrender, I think.
I Surrender.
I don't know if I even know that one.
Yeah.
For me, it was Stone Cold.
Right.
It was the first time I was introduced
Yep.
to
Yep.
him.
All right, mistreated.
Only notes I got is I got cool riff.
That's what I wrote. Cool
Yeah,
little
really?
riff.
Yeah, right
Yep.
there.
That's
cool
what I
riff.
Yep.
Like the riff in this song, solid tune, another signature Blackmore solo, good tune.
Yep. I said cool little riff. I really don't care for the vocals though.
Right.
Yep.
Rock Fever.
I got another get in your car and drive fast
Yeah.
type song.
Yeah.
I wrote could be a good live opener.
Yeah,
Like-
you could.
Yeah.
Well, I was like a typical corny chanting rock chorus, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, rock fever.
Oh, we're gonna get into some rock choruses in one of the albums after.
Predictable progression of a song.
yeah.
You know, verse, bridge, chorus. I mean, it's a pretty predictable song.
Yeah.
Color by numbers format. You know, nothing interesting. Nothing like
Hey, we need a song. Let's put it on this.
yeah,
let's
it's
use this
just
one.
there. You know,
Yeah.
that's it.
Anything, Dennis?
Nah, I agree with everything you said. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad, but nothing like interesting. It's just like color by numbers. Like this, we're just gonna keep the format.
Stay
going.
in the lines. Let's go.
Yeah, that's all it is.
All right. What did I say? Oh, Eyes of Fire.
We got
A 6.5 minute track, by the way.
right.
Yeah. This is Richie's epic, right? This is his, you know, going crazy on his guitar and you
Yeah.
know, guitar demonstration.
It starts off with a cool little, almost Zeppy sounding and Blue Murder sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mention
Tribal, whatever. I don't even know what it is, but that sound.
that. Yeah, I got like another mythical storming the castle song. You know what I mean? Like that medieval.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy's right.
Here I come.
Yeah.
But I got a note here. Would be a better song as an instrumental,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the reason I mentioned that was Christina mentioned that. She goes, I like this song because I was playing it, trying to listen to the song. She goes, this would be a really good song if there were no vocals on it. And I'm thinking, you're right, because she goes, it would almost be like a theme song to a movie or something there. She goes, but as soon as he comes in singing, it loses some of its power.
Yeah. I don't know if I buy that from her because she say that about Sinister Kane too. All the songs.
That was good. And also, I thought the bass playing was good on this album.
Yeah.
On this song. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, I think overall you've got a lot of music here that I think that you both raise a great point. It's almost like the guitar sometimes is competing with the vocals to a certain degree. His guitar is front and center, which it should be. He's a legend.
Right.
But I mean, in some of the songs, I think you can really sense that. And I think the Eyes of Fire is probably a great example of that.
Well, I think where the problem comes in is typically the center of attention in a band is the lead singer. So if you got some kind of guy like Blackmore who's a complete head case, he's going to want to,
Yeah.
overshadow you, Oh, what's this guy going to do? He's happy to be in a band.
Yeah.
I mean, he came probably out of obscurity. He's playing with Richie Blackmore. All right. Well,
So I told you before, I've been listening to all these songs when I do this with headphones, just to you can hear different nuances or whatever. This one was another trippy, panning thing going on. Now that you say,
this album?
yeah, that song.
Oh,
Now
that
that
song, yeah.
you say "Storm in the Castle," that does feel like that type of thing.
Oh, totally. It's all I think of.
All right, say what you will. Does it hold up?
Dad?
Hold up, like as far as fitting, like
The definition of hold up for me is when you get in your car and you want to throw music on, is it the go-to album? I want to hear this album.
Or is
Right.
it even one of these? Is
Yeah.
it
You
an
wanna-
album you want to listen to?
You want to listen to this
today?
in 2022. Do you want to throw this on? Does this have the same impact to you as it did in '82? Or even beyond that, can it be played on the radio? Some of these, well, we know Stone Cold maybe, and not feel outdated, like Zeppelin. I put the Zeppelin on today, like it's not like
I listen to DC.
it
on the
doesn't.
way here.
It doesn't. It's timeless.
time. Yeah, no, in my opinion, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. And like I said, that Stone Cold song. I told Lisa we were reviewing this, and she goes, "Oh, Stone Cold's on that album," and it came on. We just kept hearing it wherever we went. Other than that, no.
That's a no for me.
Yeah. Unanimous.
Ding ding. All right, what do you want to do next?
Sister.
Sister Under the Blade.
Sister. Oh, you know what?
What?
Wow.
You listen to Stay Hungry on mistake.
No, no, I did. I listened to it. like where I usually take notes, I have no notes. I have them all under one of the songs for whatever reason. But go ahead.
Can you tell by the order?
No, I can figure it out.
All right, so
I have a lot of like notes on this before, which is odd.
first song, What You Don't Know.
Well, wait.
Right.
What about the album? Like,
Uh,
came out, blah, 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 blah. I wish, I did say this, I wish D would tell it like it is. He's always held back.
yeah. He holds back. That's one thing about him.
I think this was an album that came out, obviously 82. So you've got the new wave of British heavy metal. So you had the big bands, right? You had Saxon, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. They were setting the stage. And here's Twisted Sister in New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Coming out of the bars. And when I first heard this, and even listening back to it now, it's almost like an album that has a personality crisis to it. Like there's not and we'll talk about the individual songs, but they're in different directions. You know what I mean? I think this was a band at the time trying to figure out: are we going to be Alice Cooper? Are we gonna be? Are we gonna be a little bit of Iron Maiden hard rock? Which is fine. You know what I mean? That this was, I think a band that was really trying to identify.
Find themselves.
Yeah.
What's interesting as I bring up this album is it was just produced by Pete Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
I
that.
took that note.
Yeah, I didn't
You
know
did?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very, well, I think a lot of their stuff is, but this album feels very street, feels very...
Well, they're
dirty.
hungry. The band's hungry. This is their first album, right?
Yeah, and this is also a visual band. So this was a band that was playing in the clubs with makeup and was really heavy on the visual side
you're
of
only getting
things.
half the
and
product.
now they're trying to deliver an album, right? And,
Right.
And the
With
music.
that missing piece.
Yeah.
Like Kiss. I mean, Kiss, you really didn't, you listened to those early albums, but until you saw the other piece to it,
And
you don't
like,
get the full representation of the band.
I mean, great holiday music, huh? How about them lyrics?
He's
So
just...
he wrote everything, guitar
Yeah.
and vocal. I
Yeah.
never knew that.
What?
He
I
being
didn't know
he being
that.
D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote everything. And I've heard him talk about
He
that.
wrote the guitar parts in
Yep.
this?
Like I've seen some great interviews with him even talking about the hits and how he wrote them, and he wrote everything. And you can tell some of that guitar playing is just it's very simple.
Yeah, wow.
Very simple. I grew up with two guys that just lived and died by Twisted Sister. They just loved them. Oh my God. Matter of fact, you were at one of their houses one time watching a GNR concert.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, him?
Yeah.
That was that Live in Paris or
Something.
something going
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, he wrote all the tunes.
Well, I knew he wrote the song. I didn't know. Well, yeah, I guess he had the...
I mean,
That's
we'll
interesting.
talk about this, but to me, in my opinion, this isn't their best album.
Oh,
Well, no.
No, the next one is, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But
Yeah.
whatever, we'll get to that.
This almost seems to me like a bootleg.
yeah.
You know, like this is something you'd buy back in our days on
Yeah.
at Inolite. You know what I mean?
Or-
Low budget.
or an
you know.
EP that had songs added.
Yeah,
You know
the
what
sound
I mean?
quality was
Yeah.
horrific. Again, like drum sound again. I'm like, what's going
Well,
on?
I don't think they had the financing. They probably had limited budget, limited time. We got to get in the studio, get out.
Yep.
You know, it's almost like they're showcasing themselves, demoing.
Well, you
You
know,
know?
when you think about it, though, right? Let's go back to like 1984, not 1982. You're buying this album after you listen to "Stay Hungry,"
Of course.
and then
You
you're
don't know
going
this
back
album
and buying it.
exists
You're
in
not buying
82.
this in 1982. You're buying this in 1985.
The only way you are is if you're flipping through albums, you say, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Yeah,
You know,
right.
And you buy it.
Yeah,
Right.
and that was the punk scene back in the day.
Well, you
with those
probably
bands.
bought "Stay Hungry," right? That's 85. What's
I
You're not
bought.
gonna
I
take
bought.
it.
You
No,
can't
no,
stop
you can't
rock.
stop rock and roll.
Yeah, that was the.
Which is a bigger album.
Well,
More-
they were more polished. They had an idea of where they were going then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was like with the leathers and in the streets, the video you can't stop rocking.
Right.
And he
But
was,
to touch on
you
what
know.
you're saying, you bought that, and then maybe you went to Analyte and said, "Oh,
yeah,
they had a
Yeah, right.
album called
That's
Under the
exactly
Blade
how
before
it
that."
happened.
And then
It's
you go,
exactly.
you go backwards and
Yep.
you find that old shit.
yep.
This is the album that was mentioned by Tipper Gore in Congress, where they wanted to put the parental labels on albums.
Oh wow.
And I didn't save the quote. Let's see. Hold on. No, I didn't. So she mentioned something about one of their songs is called Under the Blade, and it's about sadomasochism and all this stuff. And he had this great return to her, like about her having dirty thoughts and all this.
Right.
So
You would be interested if there was a interview with her now. She's still alive, and be like, yeah, how do you feel now?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
with the way the world is and so forth.
Oh, is that for Dennis?
wait, what is this?
Oh, you already ate?
I already ate.
You want some asparagus
I
and,
knew you were
and
gonna jump in.
potatoes?
We're getting some food delivered here.
Oh, I already
Yeah,
ate.
my wife came down with a
It was
full.
Noah's birthday, so we had like a little dinner.
I'll get you a plate.
A lot of those. All right, why'd you eat that?
I'll just have the potatoes.
No,
All right, I'm gonna put it in the middle
No,
here.
thank you.
We'll pick at it.
Here you go.
It always sounds good to eat food on mic too.
How about the asparagus?
Oh yeah, I eat a lot of that. So when I was listening to this, I thought of. By the way, when you come to my house for this, there'll be no food.
Well, why don't you get?
No heat.
No heat.
Bring a flashlight.
No. So when I was listening to this album, though, Mark, I was thinking of Widowmaker.
Well,
And-
Widowmaker. Oh, you think he was angry?
Yep.
Right.
But do you remember us seeing them in Saugus and what happened?
Sargus.
We went to the
My
rock
brother
pile.
got thrown out
well,
head first through the door.
hold on. So I brought in a tape recorder, and I was right up front of the stage recording. And at about 4 songs in, D noticed, points to the side of the stage, points at me,
Oh,
and
that's
next
right.
thing you know, these guys got me, and they're dragging me out of the rock pile. So they throw me out the door, and I'm on the steps, and I'm like, standing there, I'm
That's
like,
right.
oh,
I forgot
Christ.
he got thrown out
The
first.
next thing I hear was, crash broom, fuck you, motherfucker, rah, rah, rah. Doors open, crash. Out comes Steve. he
Head
got
first.
thrown out. I don't know what he got
He
thrown
jumped
out
on stage.
for. Oh, he
He had the idea he was going to give D. Snyder a beer, which he doesn't
Yeah,
drink.
he doesn't drink, and he's
So he got up there and
he's like the one guy you
Yeah.
don't want to
yeah,
confront.
she tried to hit him, and next thing you know, the bouncer came out from the side, tackled him.
But yeah, so
Head
I got
first.
thrown out first, and then your brother got thrown out, and it was just super funny.
Hey, let me tell you, it was a great show.
Yeah,
you guys
I only
weren't in
saw
there.
about 4 songs. I don't know what your brother and I did. We went out in the car, and
Oh, but that was
Yeah.
a good album.
I wish I had that tape.
It was a great album,
Yeah,
actually.
no kidding.
That I-
Second album
Yeah.
after that, it was
Yeah.
getting to that 94. How heavy can bands from the 80s get to try and transition and keep up? It was too heavy.
Yeah.
But that first album was good. All right, we ready to jump in here?
Let's go.
What you don't know
What do you got?
sure can hurt you.
What do you got?
I got this track sets the stage for the album. Great opener. I wouldn't say it's kind of a great song, but I loved it. I liked the
The
guitar
energy.
playing.
The energy.
Yep.
I got Lake O'Here's guitar playing on this one.
Yep.
Good solo. Kind of rock opera-ish.
Yeah.
Some of that just D singing. You could picture being on stage in some kind of rock musical opera. And typical in-your-face Dee Snider vocals.
Yep.
know.
I had pretty much the same. Out of all these albums we reviewed and singers, he's probably the closest one I can kind of relate to as a stuff I like, the bluesier, dirtier type singing.
And a very distinct voice. I mean, you
Yeah.
always know it's him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
Number 2,
Bad Boys.
of rock and roll.
I got a okay song. More rebellious Snyder vocals. Still had some of that rock opera-ish tone to it.
I wrote the title doesn't fit the song. The song was pretty mellow. Bad Boy. Like, it was kind of poppy.
Yeah.
I thought this was like their attempt at making a single
Yeah.
of the album, you know, from the album. And I thought that this was something that probably would have been on Stay Hungry, which was
Yeah.
a commercial. I mean, I don't think it ages well, you know, and we'll talk a little bit about that and more, you know, in a broader sense when we finish our comments on the album. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, today,
Okay. I got okay.
Yeah.
Run for Your Life.
I got fun song. The build up in the beginning is pretty cool, and I put down Nod to Judas Priest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard a little early
Little
Priest,
Priest
in
in
that
there?
with the guitar.
I wrote great vocal. His voice is just super powerful. Quick song. And then I wrote, hey, hit that cardboard box over there. Yes, that's the sound we need. And I must have been talking about the drum sound.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they didn't have the production.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got, I didn't like the opening part of it. That first, it's like a minute or so. But I like the guitar riff that they came in after that. I
Yeah.
liked a lot. More Ohia guitar. Decent song. Nothing.
Sin After Sin.
I put Accept, early Accept. If you're
Really?
familiar with the band? Yeah, I thought this was kind of like this is like their new wave of British heavy metal. This was a song I think that would fit in that classification. So
I had gang vocal chorus.
yeah.
Meh tune.
Well,
It's a great riff.
Well, Derek, that is the Accept influence.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, because in some of the early Accepts, they got that chanting, like rah rah rah.
Yeah.
You know that's present in that song. That's why I thought about
yeah.
Accept.
Yeah, that's-
German band.
Got on that is okay song, cool riff.
That's what
The
I
riff,
mean.
the guitar riff was pretty decent.
I said it was also very punk type,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
punk feel. Shoot 'em down.
My favorite Twisted Sister song.
I was gonna say this is a good tune.
I love this song. I think it's the best, my favorite. Yeah, so not only the best song on the album, I think the best song in their catalog. Great riff, still strong after all these years, holding up. And frankly, I've seen Snyder play live over the last 5 years. I saw him at Tupelo. Was it right before COVID, the pandemic? He's still playing this in his
Yeah.
live set.
It's a staple.
Well,
Yeah.
So yeah, love it.
Yeah,
love
it's a good tune.
You.
That's all I got.
I go like the chorus, more great Ojeda soloing, more aggressive Snyder, great tune.
Yep. I hear you. All right. Destroyer.
I got, what is that sound effect in the beginning?
I don't remember it.
Oh, me
I
neither.
don't know what it is. It's some weird,
Cardboard box.
I don't know what, I can't figure it out. I got Rocky Horror vibe. That, I don't know.
Yeah, I was.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for the tune, but I thought it had heavy elements to it for 82.
Yeah.
And I thought if it was engineered today, it would be a way heavier tune. But
Well, that's the thing you got to think of when you're listening to these songs. You got to go back to the technology that was available in '82.
Right.
It's easy to sit here and pass judgment on songs.
that's right.
But then you listen to like Van Halen. Why is their stuff still sound great? Like, why is Hang 'Em High still sound awesome to me 45 years
I
later?
can't wait till Dave re-records.
Well,
it.
yeah, we should. No, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, the quality of the music. I mean, you're talking about the greatest guitar player. I mean, I think we'd all agree, right?
Right.
I
Yep.
mean, or at least in our generation,
Yep.
And you
Timeless.
talked about Led Zeppelin, and gee, what a coincidence! Another great guitar player. The music, the lyrics. I mean, you just want. When you think about it, let's get our ladies together. We party here, his place, my place, and you're throwing music on as a background to the party. You're putting that Van Halen or whatever. You're probably not putting
Under the Blade.
Sin After Sin or Bad Boys of Rock and Roll. You know what I mean? So I think that Van Halen
They were
was
like a
was
heavy-
at the party when we partied. When
Yeah,
we put
yeah,
that music, it was part of the atmosphere.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Under the Blade.
I thought this was a good song. Obviously one of the better songs on the album. Naturally, I was clear. Shoot 'Em Down's my favorite, but I thought this song was probably, right there as a classic for them.
Yeah,
Guitar work again was good.
I got the same thing. Great riff in this song. Good solo. Classic Sister. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just got all the elements of a Twisted Sister song.
Yeah. I mean, I had pretty much the same thing as you guys.
Okay.
Tear It Loose.
I put speed metal with a question mark. Is this the start? And the drummer's obviously working very hard on this track.
Yeah, I got the same thing here.
You know who played second guitar solo on this?
No,
Fast Eddie Clark.
No
that's
kidding.
right. Motorhead.
Wow.
Wow.
No,
Is this
not
the one Pete Way
Yeah.
produced?
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
right.
go.
There you go.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the link.
Yep.
Huh.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, interesting.
Yeah, because a year later, Fastway came out.
I got good drumming.
Mm.
Another song that would make a great opener. Sounds like Ojeda and French are trading off solos in there, because you're going to hear a little different tone in the solos. Like I think it's pan, so you hear it solo starts here, and then another guy kicks in from the other side. So, decent too.
Yep. Gang vocals again.
Yeah.
Classic. I'll Never Grow Up Now.
I got Signature Sister Rebellious Song. AKA We're Not Gonna Take It
Right.
style.
So,
In Your Face, Snyder.
so I was confused when I heard it. I said, it sounds a little bit like We're Not Gonna Take It
Well, that's what I thought.
theme.
Yeah.
And so I got looking at it, and in '85, it said Atlantic reissued this song
Right.
as a single.
Because I don't
Off
have
the
it.
success. You don't have it, right?
I don't have it because I'm looking at the original.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
So
why I
this-
was like, this tune feels out of place.
Yep.
And that's what it is. So what they do? Throw it
Whoa,
on
whoa,
this.
whoa. What do
That's the reissue you're
This is
looking
the
at.
reissue.
Yeah.
It's not on the original.
The original is 9
Oh.
songs.
Atlantic had him do this song after We're Not Gonna Take It, the success. They're like, hey, write another one like that. That's why it almost sounds like it.
It sounds like the same song.
Yeah.
That's why I put right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
And
no
then
one
they
ever
said,
heard.
is this D even singing? They're like, it sounds like Poison. It doesn't even sound like D.
Mm.
It's not his vocal sound.
Wow,
It's
I
even
think
poppier.
it seems like it's not recorded at the same time as this album either.
Correct. But, I mean, it still doesn't sound like We're Not Gonna Take It. It sounds
No.
very clean sounding. Oh, that's funny. What'd you do? Pull out your album and put it on?
No. I went for the original release in '82, and it didn't have it there. And then I checked on iTunes, and they had the reissue, and then it had that extra song there. So
Nice. All right. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Day of the Rocker.
I put blues track, and to me, this was like a nod to Bon Scott AC/DC.
I wrote AC/DC like bluesy tune.
Yeah, Bon Scott.
That's
Yeah.
I got nice blues shuffle, good solo, and I had best song in the album. You know, with "Shoot 'Em Down" it's great too. So I think these are the two best songs.
Yeah, I think
for
again this
me.
comes down to a band really looking for an identity here, and
They
Yeah,
hadn't,
bunch of influences.
hadn't quite found it yet.
Yeah, I thought that was a good. They're one of the stronger songs on the album.
So say what you will. Hold up.
I'm gonna say no, not today.
I'm gonna give another no.
I think if you're, obviously,
But
if you're-
I've already got "Shoot 'Em Down" stuck in my head. Like the
Shoot 'Em
freaking
Down.
songs are
Yeah, but the overall,
packaged.
does it
Pat,
hold up
yeah.
in today's
No.
world?
No,
if
Well,
you're
But how
gonna,
many albums do?
but we can't say today. Like we can't put. Like I shouldn't be really complaining about drum sounds because they didn't have, like you
It's
said,
40
they-
years ago.
Right. But there are still albums that have decent drum sounds that you would put on over this today.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
right, yep,
yeah, no,
No on that?
no,
that's a negative all around. All right. So the last one, Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. Wow. Third studio album. Came out in March, so this is one of those things where we had to use an album from
Right.
earlier in the year. Breakout album?
Yeah.
yep. Agreed. This was
This
Dickinson's
put
first.
them in mainstream. The mainstream, rock scene. I hate to use the word commercial. I don't know if they're commercial, but
This defined like a genre of music, basically.
Yeah.
This was,
A
I
game
think
changer.
some people would say Peace of Mind, and I agree to a certain extent. And then you had Power Slave.
but
This
I
was,
think
this was really the album, I think.
I think this album here influenced more future
Oh yeah.
metal bands to come. I don't think without this band, this album, you might not have Metallica.
Without the success of this album, you don't have Peace of Mind, you don't have Power
Well, you don't have
Slave,
any of
even
those
with the
albums
whole,
from them.
with the only band. I mean, to me, that this band, this was incredible at the time. It just
Yeah,
Awesome
and I think
album.
it just spawned so many other bands. Not necessarily the Sunset Strip bands and the Motleys and the Poisons and all that, but that other subgenre of Metallica, and could you go as far as to say Accept and a lot of other Accept might have even been coming around with them.
yeah, but they
this
weren't.
that genre,
But also too, think about Iron Maiden at the time, right? This is a band, Di'Anno, and they had some local success in Europe with Paul Di'Anno with those two albums, Killers and so forth. And then all of a sudden they get Bruce Dickinson, and it's just like the writing, the storytelling.
It goes
But
to
that,
another
but
level.
I wrote a word. I put courage at the time. Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a band that called themselves Iron Maiden, right? And like you look at the names, and we're going to examine that in a moment, of the titles of these songs
Right.
and stuff. I mean,
They sold us souls.
you're almost
The
yeah.
rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
but
sold
even
it. They're like, we're leaving it all out here. It's either make or break.
Yeah, but
This
this
is
isn't
going to
a-
work for us, or we're gonna die live by the sword, or we're gonna die by it here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, right, but what they're talking about was, Van Halen talk about love, partying, and stuff like that.
Oh, they're
is
darker.
a little bit wider. How many women are going to an Iron Maiden concert in 1982? You know what I'm saying? Look at the name of these songs, which we'll examine. So, the lyrics and everything, just the courage at the time to say, we don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to go out there, we're going to stand by our own convictions, we're going to write the type of music we believe in, and we're going to let the
Yeah,
music...
but doesn't that make the greatest bands?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
If Led Zeppelin didn't do that, if Sabbath didn't do that, if Guns N' Roses didn't come out with and do that,
Yeah.
they don't become the bands they became, right?
I know, but when you're calling yourself Iron Maiden, you're not exactly setting yourself up for, immediately
Well-
people are like sticker shock, right?
Well-
Right. It's courage.
They were looked at. I was doing some reading on them because I don't know as much about Iron Maiden as you guys possibly. But they were looked at as Satanists, and they were like public burnings of their albums. Like,
Wow.
you can't listen to this stuff. Like,
Yeah, but didn't they all get that? Didn't Priest get some of that bullshit? Didn't Sabbath get some of
Maybe.
that backlash? They're all going to get it.
Yeah.
But
Black Sabbath, though, Iron Maiden coming out, like I said, Iron Maiden, the name, is immediately you're having people
Evil.
walk away before they even listen, right? And
Right.
then Number of the Beast.
right, you got the devil on the front cover.
Right. Yeah, there's no,
Right. Well,
what are they talking about?
there's shock value there.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. This isn't like, they didn't put a little bit of...
But the music's
Thought.
got to be great. See, this
You
was
gotta back it up.
groundbreaking because if these these songs weren't A quality and the musicianship wasn't A quality,
sink.
they would have died on the table. They would have
would've
failed right immediately.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this was just such an enormous the pressure for this to be. And I don't know. Maybe they figured like, hey, we just want to sell enough to survive or to be a
yeah.
local band. But for this album, it had to be great, and
it
they
was.
delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think they have intentions of specific success and we're making this album. Like Guns N' Roses, I keep going back because they're a perfect example of a band. When they were writing that album, they're not writing that album to say, we want to sell, 50 million albums and be the biggest rock band in the world and go on tour. But they don't have any of those intentions. Their intentions is we just want to write an album. We got a bunch of shit, tunes together, and you never think of the success it's gonna give you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another nod to production and a producer. Have you heard the demos of those songs?
What, Appetite?
Yeah. And when they did them, when they were Tracy Guns and Axel, like in their band, I forget what it was. A lot of those songs are from
Hollow
those days.
Rose.
Wow. No.
Horrific.
Of course,
Wow.
they don't have
Oh
a
my God.
producer.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. It's
Was
so
it
much happens.
Alum or Alum was
I
the
forget.
Well, I'm sure most of that Appetite album didn't sound like that when they went in the studio.
Oh, it totally did.
Producer said, all right, drop this, fix that,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
don't do that.
But the other thing to remember, in '82, Iron Maiden's coming out with this. It's not like they're alone because in the same country, there's a band coming through that's having some success called Judas Priest. So it's that whole movement, really,
Yeah.
that's happening at the time.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. That European metal,
New wave of British heavy
that
metal.
new wave of British heavy metal,
Yeah.
was definitely on its way over. But, I mean, there was still American bands that were doing well. I mean, Van Halen was doing great as an American band. There was some, but I think there were more in that genre coming from there
Yeah.
at that time.
That was the scene. Like we have the Sunset Strip back in those days. In Europe, you've got these European bands that are starting to really come together in this heavy music.
Yeah.
And they're gonna and really giving the middle finger, I think, to commercial. Like Iron Maiden wasn't a commercial band in '82, even with Diano. I mean, they were anti-commercial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they end up being successful, and they still are today. But
Well, it's the same thing with Metallica. I mean, their intention wasn't to become the biggest rock and roll band ever. They were influenced by this.
Yeah.
And they were just like, hey, we just want to play rock music and make albums. And, look what happened. But you can't, it's not premeditated.
No.
You can't, they didn't predict their success. Metallica never knew they were going to be what they are today. They just stuck to their laurels and said, hey, we're going to play the music we like to play. I mean, look at them on that Monsters of Rock tour. They didn't belong on that tour.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
With Dawkins and Scorpions and Van Halen.
Yeah.
And Kingdom
Kingdom
Come.
Come.
And guess who was the biggest draw? Them. When they came out, when I saw it in New York at the Meadowlands, Derek, I was up in the first row stands, and I was like, there's a new genre of music about to bust out. The fans were going absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it. They weren't even like that for Van Halen
Yeah.
when they came out. But that's a perfect example of Maiden, just a band that just stuck to their laurels.
What's funny is, maybe this is a topic down the road someday, is maybe having a third, replace me or a fourth person. It'd be interesting to get somebody, maybe your son or whatever, a different generation, to hear this and report what they think.
Have
that would be interesting.
Have you seen those videos of people doing that?
Oh,
So
no,
there's
no.
videos on YouTube of like, here's, this
Can't
guy's
do it, Derek.
this guy's hearing,
AC/DC.
AC/DC for the first time. And,
Oh.
But the problem is,
Oh, sorry. I didn't,
Yeah.
that's been
the
done.
problem is, it wasn't just about the band and the song. It was about the landscape and the music, the era we lived in, and the times
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
went along with it. You
Yeah.
take all that element out and you just throw an AC/DC song on now, 2023 for a kid. He doesn't understand it.
No.
He doesn't understand everything else, the landscape that went with the music of those times.
I mean,
And the
You
music,
know what I mean?
And the music was created from those times.
From those
They go
times.
back and forth.
Right. So they have to.
Right.
They're interlocked.
yeah, we had posters of these bands.
Posters, the bands, just the whole the times, the '80s. You can't listen to AC/DC, a song from the '80s in 2023, and get the same reaction we had,
Yeah.
because it's 45 years later. So I don't know. Yeah, I like your point. What kind of
My son
response would they have to this? But
My son Noah doesn't, but they all buy songs now or whatever. They stream or whatever. But he's like, "Wow, Iron Maiden," and I'm like, you should go to a concert and get the feel for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I go, "What do you like?" He goes, "Wow, it just seems like there's so much happening in the songs. Like it's not just like one guy is like the lead guitar player, and that's why you're buying it. It's the.
Well, it's
We'll
not like
examine
going-
that in
yeah.
a second, but there's just so much going on.
it helps a little bit to go see a live
Oh, yeah.
concert to get a little taste of
Especially
it.
these
But
guys, yeah.
I didn't realize that Steve Harris wrote a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, he's the man. Yep.
Said it went gold in 83 and then went platinum by 86.
Wow, I think we touched on I think when Peace of Mind came out, that was even bigger.
Yep.
And of course, that was followed up by Power Slave.
Right.
So now, let's
They
go
go
back
back.
and look at their old catalog. What does this band have? Oh my God, they got like 6 albums before.
I don't even
This.
think they toured Number of the Beast in America, but I know in Peace of Mind, I went to Peace of Mind tour.
By then
So,
they were.
you know,
they
so
were
now
big.
you're seeing these guys live, which
Yeah.
is what we got back then, right? I mean, we didn't. There was no YouTube
There was
or
nothing.
the ability to, you know.
Even see what they look like.
Yeah.
No, but I think on
Um,
your point, I think that's why this album goes platinum
Yep.
later.
Then it said by 2021, it sold almost 20 million copies worldwide.
Yeah, that album will never stop selling. It's like
crazy.
Led Zeppelin 4.
And get this little nugget I found. In October of 2002, Dream Theater played this album in its entirety.
Oh, that must have been great. I would love to see
Isn't that
that.
cool?
Wow. That says a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I need
Why-
to look up on YouTube to see.
Yeah.
02, no, they may have recorded it,
Huh.
but it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And this is the last album with Clyde Burke.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think Nico
Yep.
McBrain came in.
Right.
Peace of Mind. Which, you know, I think it took them to another level.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Burr was good.
Burr was great.
Yeah.
But I think you can say that about a lot of these bands from that era. There's Mark 1s and Mark 2s
Yeah.
of these bands.
Yeah.
And I think Number of the Beast was the end of Mark 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Peace of Mind came out, going forward was Mark 2.
Right.
A lot of it had to do with McBrain, but a lot of it had to just do with their success and better production and,
Sure.
you know, better
Yep.
album sounds, you know.
Cool.
Sorry, I just had a note I was looking at. I don't know anything else.
Get into it.
Yeah. What do you got, Denny?
Invaders. So 3 minutes 20 seconds. So this is a quick one. The only comment I got: great start to the album.
Yeah.
I put down bass attack. I can hear. Oh
Wicked.
God!
technical.
I mean, Harris is just
Yeah,
like,
he's amazing.
here I am. This is, you know, they're kind of his band when you think about it. Certainly isn't Bruce Dickinson's band. He's just new to the team, if you will. There's a lot of things happen musically. You guys are the musicians. I'm sure you hear it. There's a lot going on in this album. Good
Wow.
start.
Well, I get similar. Good opener, great guitar solo. And I can hear parts in the song that became signature Maiden parts in later albums. Like it's just certain stuff they did, type of phrasings they do and stuff. I go, no, I've heard that.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes kind of their staple.
Yep.
You know, in
Oh,
later
yep.
albums.
Yep.
You know, a good tune.
Yeah, I had all the same stuff.
Yeah.
I did put in that I'm not well, I've kind of said it already. Not a fan of the high register falsetto type singing,
Right.
but the tunes I, paid attention to and listened to. Children of the Damned.
Yeah. So this clocks in at 4 minutes 34 seconds. I thought
So
incredible.
there's a good point to them not caring about any type of radio play or
Yeah.
Well, when
Whatever.
you're not expecting
Yeah.
it, you're not worried about
Right.
it.
they're just writing songs
Right.
and they're long and it
Right.
is what it is.
I put incredible vocals. I thought there was kind of a Sabbath, Iommi riff vibe going here. I hear that in this. This is probably about as close as you're going to get to a ballad for Iron Maiden. Yeah. I like the song.
I like the build to the chorus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I wrote that down. I was like, great build.
Yeah, I got great Dickinson vocals. Classic Maiden tempo changes.
Yeah.
They like to change it.
Yeah.
The tempos. More great guitar soloing.
Cool. The Prisoner.
My notes, powerful intro. Yeah, got like that.
I wrote, I love the funky groove at the beginning, and then they dump it.
Yeah.
Goes away, and I'm like, oh,
Well,
man.
and I put
Well, they never stick to anything for too long of a period.
how many speakers were blown from that first, where you're turning it up, trying to listen to what's going on here.
Yeah.
What's this guy saying? And then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the song. I mean, it.
Commercial chorus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I got great drumming from Burr. I like the opening guitar riff. Another Maiden tempo change. More strong Dickinson vocals. More guitar shredding.
Great solo
Solos.
section. Yeah.
This shredding guitars.
Oh, yeah. All right, what's next?
22 Acacia Avenue.
Oh,
I got tempo changes everywhere.
Yeah, I put changing gears.
Yeah, the changing
yeah, so
gears.
yeah, right there.
Love the opening guitar chugging. I think it's just
Yeah.
that guitar chug.
I wrote, it does have a great riff and changes.
Yeah.
I liked it. I put wow. I like the song personally, but
And I like
that's
the
all-
tempo change. They changed. There's one of the tempos they go into. It's just a great guitar riff.
Yep.
I can hear bits of Rhyme the Ancient Mariner in a part of the song. More great solo and great bass playing.
6 minutes,
song.
34 seconds.
Holy smokes.
Yep.
Number of the Beast.
Classic. Next. Not even
I wrote,
about
I
it.
didn't know this. Inspired by Omen 2.
Oh,
movie.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was trying to do a little digging because I don't know much on Iron Maiden. So, and Steve Harris is playing. I can't hear that fast.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
bad. I'm like, I can't hear that fast.
Yeah,
Cranking.
great song. Just, and this is one of their staples in some of their concert set lists. And
Yeah. I mean, this is the song that has influenced all these future bands. It's Number of the Beast, Front of the Hills, 22 Acacia Ave. These are the bands. These are the songs Metallica loved. That got them, that drove bands like that in the early days.
yeah.
I mean, Number of the Beast is a classic. I didn't write anything but just classic.
Yep.
Mark, I wrote there's a great extra snare note in the song.
Oh, really?
And I said, I'm not sure what it is, but it sounds cool. Listen to it again. I don't know technically what he's doing, but on headphones, I picked it up. I was like, wow,
Is it
what
just like an echo?
Maybe. I'm going to have to listen to it again to know what I was kind of referencing, but I
Yep.
was like, huh, that's kind of cool.
Good stuff.
But it's safe to say, I think this song, obviously the title too, kind of put them,
Oh yeah.
on the charts. This
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
the song that kind
Yeah.
of put them
I
on
mean,
the
they're
map.
playing it to this day live. Yep.
That's the song.
All right, Run to the Hills.
Oh God, I literally don't have any words.
Another classic I wrote.
Yeah, I mean,
Brought Maiden to a
Right.
more mainstream level.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
wrote.
250,000 plays on Spotify.
Yeah, it's just that
Another
Number of the Beast.
commercial chorus you can sing along with.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
hit.
I mean, it's in car commercials, I think now, or it's one of those catchy type of things.
You know what's incredible too is we're examining, we're talking a lot about drums, bass, and guitar, and what the singer sounds like and stuff. What about the songwriting? I mean, he's got to be one of the best songwriters, like poets. Like he's
Oh, yeah.
telling a story.
Well, he's like writing
You know,
a
and
novel.
that's why, like, when you go to their concerts, and now because they have the money and the resources to build their concert, their stage around their themes, and it's like with the World War II airplanes, the Aces High, and stuff. And
Well, they have the production. to
I
do
mean,
that.
the story. But if you read the lyrics, I mean, it's just incredible. The story he's talking about. He's talking to, in some of these cases, maybe more so in the next album and the album after that, talking about, you know, like living through World War II, you know, or his parents, you know, when the Germans were bombing.
Yeah.
And, you know, Churchill's speech and so
Well,
forth.
to touch on what you're
Songwriting
saying
is
is,
just-
I think what you're trying to say is, in the early days, you played a song, and all you saw was the guitar player, the drummer, the amps, and it's a live stage where when they had the money for the production, we can almost show you what this song is about.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can put a screen in the back. If we're talking about World War II, we can put, like, you know, a bomber plane up there and some scene in the back where you're almost like, I know what this... Even if you never knew this band, you go, wow,
But
this song is about, you know, World War II.
Right.
But just by, like you said, the production, they had the video to say, hey, just so you know, this is what this song is
But
about.
it's almost more along the lines of, you know, Dylan folk music that they're telling stories. You know, Bruce is telling a story rather than, you know, Dance the Night Away or Beautiful Girls. You know, he's telling a story in the song.
Right.
So that in itself is
Well,
challenging.
and I
It's
think they
challenging
did a
to do.
good job with the video for Run to the Hills, where they were showing kind of footage of, it was kind of tongue-in-cheek with Indians and cowboys and, you know, but you could see the message that they were trying to convey.
This must have been brutal, like in the early '80s, when, like you know, like you can go to an Iron Maiden, Aerosmith, and you meet a girl there. So how many girls are you meeting at an Iron Maiden show? You know, like Run to the Hills.
It's a sausage
Hey,
fest.
Number of the Beast.
It's a sausage fest.
Maybe
There's no-
some-
You want to dance?
Yeah.
Prisoner.
And if there is a girl there, she looks like Wednesday from the Addams Family.
What's your name? Pat?
What are you wearing to the dance, Pat? Black.
Oh, all right. What's next? Gangland.
I got good opening drums. We're making good opening song live back then on that tour. That or Invaders. I think either one of those would.
I'm reading my notes and it's funny. So, you know, my comments before about the singing. So in Gangland, the second to last song I wrote, I think I've had my fill of Iron Maiden right now. And the next song I wrote, great riff, but I think I'm done.
Yeah. Well, Gangland, I got speed metal. Maybe this was a start of like thrash. You know, it's like really-
Well, yeah. I think to an extent you're right, because I think these bands like we talk about that came from, you know, influenced by this. You know, like Metallica, I would say was the first real thrash band, right? And you know they know this song.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, Lars
Yeah.
probably banging away at that drum sound
Yeah,
down
yeah.
the bass. You know, so I think that I think you're right. These are the roots
Yeah.
that bands took and then brought it somewhere else. Obviously, more to what we call thrash now, but it had to start somewhere. You know, before that, you have to
Right.
get your influence of something. You know,
Right.
and I think it's a good point. That's probably where some of those bands got the ideas.
Yep.
Yep.
You know,
All right. Hallowed be thy name.
how did I miss that one?
I put down the vocals were very upfront here.
Great riff.
Yeah, that's what I had too. Great riff. And I
Classic.
used the analogy, and I don't know why I put this down. I said, it's like that old Chevy pickup truck with the carburetor, and you turn it on, and you gotta it doesn't get going until it warms up, and then the engine starts firing up, and then it's ready to go. Now you got your Chevy pickup that's working.
Right, it's a build.
Yeah.
It builds
you know,
up to it.
so the build up and so forth. I thought decent song.
Well, I think it's a staple too. I don't think you can go to a Maiden's concert and not hear this song.
Right.
It's played. It's been probably played at every concert they've done in the last 40 years. I love the opening chimes in the beginning. I love the mood
Yeah.
it sets. You know,
But
they
these
set a mood.
vocals,
The vocal.
where he's running, like he keeps it. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah,
He's
he's got that feel.
yeah.
The vocal breaks in it are classic Maiden. I just think it's one of their most legendary songs. That's a staple. It's like you're going to see Van Halen, they're playing Ain't Talking About Love. You're going to see Maiden, they're playing Hallowed Be Thy Name. You can't not play that song.
What's interesting too is nothing against this, and I don't mean to be critical, but he does have a voice where you kind of really got to like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? I mean that's where I mean I do, but I mean
Yeah,
it's I guess the same.
It's
thing
an
can be said
acquired
about
taste.
Priest.
I can't
too.
take a lot of it.
It's an acquired taste. And Rick Moore says the same thing. He goes, I love Maiden's music. He loves it all, but I'm not sold on Dickinson's.
Really.
Yeah, it's an acquired
And it's
sound.
different. I mean, me, I enjoy it, but it's.
I don't mind it. And I like, and it's not really up my
But
alley.
I understand.
Right, because I like the like Derek and I talk about. We like the raspy, Keith,
But
David
also-
Lee Roth, Tyler.
But also, like I'd say, I like Steve Perry, and you guys probably laugh at me
No, I
about
love
that.
Steve
But I mean, I like Steve.
No, we do
the
laugh.
He's
voice.
when you leave. No, but he's a legend. No.
Yeah. Especially that old 70s.
And you never take away, like, the one thing you can't say is, like, they're a bad singer.
No.
You just,
No, it's just a
Where-
style.
some of the singers that I like, you could say they're not great singers,
But you like their.
but I like their approach.
Well,
and
David Lee
stuff.
Roth isn't a great singer. We can all attest to that.
Right,
But I
we just-
love his singing. I love him. I
Yeah, we
love
just
him.
did that with the Sammy stuff.
Jeff Keith isn't he's not that. He's not Rob Halford.
No.
But I love Jeff Keith.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right, say what you will. Does it hold up?
yes,
I'm going to say yes, too, Derek.
this
I-
put in.
Even though you know my opinion, I'm not a huge fan. It holds up.
It's
You
groundbreaking.
can't say it doesn't.
I think the production,
It's-
too, is
it's
solid.
original.
Yeah.
Only they sound like them. When I want to hear Maiden, I have to put in that or them.
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it on my music rotate, iTunes,
course.
which is,
All right,
that's
Dennis,
a game changer.
from a 3 to 1, rank these three.
okay. Okay, so one being the best? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say obviously Iron Maiden.
Wait.
Oh
Start
no,
at
we
three.
have to know what we're
Go
talking.
3 to 1.
So 3 to 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So
What's the
worst to
shittiest
best.
one?
Okay.
So,
That's a tough one. I'll say Rainbow.
Rainbow 3,
Yeah.
Twisted 2.
Yeah, and then Maiden 1. That is tough. 2 and 3.
I'm gonna go Sister, Rainbow, Maiden.
I think I'm with you. Same. Sister, Rainbow, Maiden.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I mean it's. Oh, by the way, before you guys leave,
Uh-oh.
I have an unveiling.
Oh, boy.
I've been holding it out. Don't look. Close your
You've been holding it in, you mean?
Close it in. Close your eyes. Till I open up.
Oh, my God.
You ready for this shirt? I find this
Oh,
at
boy.
TJ Maxx.
Oh, my God.
$9.
Get out.
And the seller for me is, all right, does it have the back?
Right.
It's got all the freaking...
Really?
Wait, what? Where
It's
did
got
you?
the Worcestershire.
But how
I
did you
went to.
get that?
Where did you find it?
$10.
Where?
I bought 2. TJ Maxx on South Willow.
What?
I
So
mean,
that's
you're looking for-
obviously a reproduction.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah, but
But the key to reproduction
So-
is they never put the back on it.
So it's Tour of the World, Van Halen, 1984,
Yep.
with an eagle in the U.S. and South
tour dates
America,
on the
and the
back,
tour
yeah.
dates on the back. Those aren't
Poster.
all the tour dates. You don't.
You got Worcester?
You don't have to get in my face. I can read.
Oh, I can't read.
Yeah, they've got Worcester March 16th.
That's right. Dennis, you and I went to that.
Yep. Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
Wow.
Oh, classic.
I don't have anything to unveil.
Huh?
I don't have anything to unveil. I was going to bring something for you,
Uh.
and I went to order it, and the freaking site was wonky. I couldn't get it, and I may get it later.
You had your hands full with the technology. Never
I was
mind
listening to
bringing-
Maiden, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. All right, cool. So, Jesus Christ. Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, this was fun.
Good insight. I love it.
Yeah, no, this was fun. And what was really cool is I kind of learned some new things from old things. So
Well, you get
know,
some
you think of-
deeper insights on
yeah.
albums you knew about for years, but never really.
Or you're like me, and I didn't really know about him.
Yeah, well, I knew them, but
The
I
Maiden
mean,
one is the only one I really. The Twisted album, I never.
Yeah.
in
I
the
wasn't
Rainbow.
too familiar. I knew you were. Because
Yeah.
I knew you were a Sister fan, and I knew you had that
Well,
back in the old
yeah,
days. and
lived
stuff.
it. I mean,
Obviously, I knew Straight Through the Eyes.
I never forget going down to this place called Inner Light Records in Manchester, and it sold albums, and I would walk in, we were just kids back then. I mean, I can't think of how old. Maybe I was like 14 years old or whatever, 13 years old, walking in, and there'd be like freaking sitting on the ground in front of the store was G.G. Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because G.G. Allen used to hang out in Manchester, and he was all knocked out on drugs and stuff. And I forget
Didn't,
which band he was in at the time.
Huh.
G.G. Allen, the Murder Junkies, or was that this?
Yeah. See the Street Sluts.
Yeah, yeah. He used to hang out right around where the Palace Theater is and
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
So Inner Light Records was you go down Hanover Street, you take a right, and it's right around the corner. They
Well, were you
right around the
telling me Motley Crue did a in-store there for Shout the Devil?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Woody.
Woody
told me
did.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a pretty interesting place. They had this one
He's right
woman.
across from the Verizon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
back
they had
in the
one
day.
woman that worked there, and she was like kind of a rocker. She was older and stuff, and she would.
Yeah. Oh, they had some
Yeah.
good bootleg stuff. I bought some
Yeah.
good bootleg albums in there.
But thank you.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
Cool.
appreciate
No, I thought it was awesome.
the opportunity. I know we're talking about this, but it's always fun to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. We'll have you back on, down the road.
You got that contract?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.